and welcome to the Divi Feature Update Live. Today, we are going to be talking about a brand new feature called Divi Sticky Options. It's going to be really, really awesome. So let's wait and see what we have in stock today. All right, so before we get started, I'd like to just make sure everything is working okay. So if you can hear me loud and clear, please let me know in the comments box below, because I'd like to get off on a very, very good start. Okay. Right, if you can hear me loud and clear, please let me know in the comments box. All right, so I can see some of you are tuning in now. We have Agante from Berlin. Awesome. We also have Smith saying, yep, great. So it looks like everything is loud and clear. So as I mentioned earlier on, the feature we'll be talking about today is called the Divi Sticky Options. Now, this feature, the name may not sound like this is a big deal, but trust me, this is going to be amazing. And this is going to allow us to build amazing options on our website, specifically with the header. I mean, you'll be able to make some options where when someone scrolls, the color of the header changes, and you can also have things floating on the page and stop as the viewer is scrolling on the page. Now, I know it doesn't make sense as I'm speaking, but the best thing is to actually show you how this works. All right, so we also have George here from India. Good to see you. Excellent. Right, so let's take a look at this feature. So over here now, I am going to switch over to my desktop and show you how we can use this feature. All right. So what I've done ahead of time is I've gone in and I've installed this pre-made layout because if I were to build everything from scratch, to be honest, it will take really, really long to for me to show you and build everything up. So I'm just going to go in now into Divi and let me show you where this feature is. So this feature can work on sections. It could also work on rows and also modules. So it's a very, very powerful feature, and I'll show you where to find it. Now, before you get started, if you want to use this feature right away, you got to make sure that you're running the latest Divi. So you want to go into your WordPress admin dashboard and make sure you hit update and refresh to make sure that you've downloaded the latest install of Divi. All right. So over here now, we have this layout. So we need to first decide what we're going to make sticky. So as we take a look here, let's say we want that when people scroll on our website, because this is a call to action, we want it to remain there on the top as our visitor continues to take a look at other content. Okay, so that's what we're trying to achieve here. So let's see how we can do this. So what you want to do is to identify what you want to make sticky. So this is what I want to make sticky here, the call to action. So I'm going to go into my row settings. Next, you want to go to advanced scroll effects. Okay. Actually, you know what? I've done the exact same mistake that a lot of people would do, and you can see here I don't have the sticky option, and that is because I haven't updated Divi to the latest install. So let's go ahead and do that and then come back over here. You know, it's crazy. I was doing this feature, I was setting it up yesterday, it was working well for me, and for this to happen, this is ridiculous. But anyway, this is a live show. All right, so let me show you how to update your site. So you want to come over here to update. So if you click here, it's going to refresh, and once it refreshes, this is now where you see Divi update 4.6. So you just want to go in there, update themes, and once you update it, it then gives you the latest feature, which is the Divi Sticky Options. So as you can see, it's quite crazy. If you don't update, this is what happens. You'd go in and try and work things out, and if they don't work, chances are you haven't updated it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to save and exit this page and then refresh. And then let's see if that works. So I'm going to exit the Visual Builder now. Okay, so now I'm going to go back in, and this should definitely work. All right, so to find this feature, the Divi Sticky Options, what you want to do is to first identify what you want to make sticky. And in this case, as I mentioned, we want to make this part here, the call to action sticky, this part right here. Okay, so I'm going to go into my rows and then click advanced, scroll effects, and the feature is right here. Do you see where it says sticky options? This is where the feature is. Okay, so by default, of course, it says do not stick. So if you click on this drop down, you can now decide stick to the bottom, stick to the top, and so on. So we want this to stick to the top. So I'm going to go ahead and select that and then save. Okay, so pretty much that's all I need to do. I'm going to save the page and then exit the Visual Builder. So I'm just testing it now, and I can see right here that it's working, and that is really cool. So now I'm going to exit the Visual Builder. And let's try and scroll and see if that's going to work now. So now, as I'm scrolling, you can see here, as soon as it gets to the top, it stops, and everything now is scrolling behind that call to action. So the reason why you may want to do this is because, say you have a sales page or you have a landing page that's promoting something. So, you know, sometimes you have these long sales pages, and sometimes the call to action button can be hidden all the way down at the bottom, or they may have passed it, but they still need to read more information. So by having it sticky, it's very handy, and it makes people go to your call to actions much easier. So this is why you may want to do this. So let's take a look at this one more time. So here, if I scroll back up, you're going to notice that as soon as I get to that position, now it removes itself from that sticky position. So this only works when you're scrolling and your page gets to that position and then it stops. Okay. But when you scroll down, it then unsticks. I don't know if that's the right word. Okay. It unsticks. So this is how easy you can use this. Okay, so far, are we all on the same page? Do you understand how easy it is to pretty much do this quick setting? If not, and you have any questions, please let me know in the comments box below. And also, for those of you that have just joined us, this is the Divi Feature Update Live, a show where we talk about the latest Divi features, and we go into detail, show you how it's used, and also discuss any other questions that you may have. So it's live today. You can go ahead and download the latest Divi, and you can start using it right away. Okay. Right, so let's take a look at another example. So far we don't have any questions, but it's all good. So the next step now is to do another example. So this time I need to find something else here that I can make sticky. So I'm going to go in and enable the Visual Builder. And this time I want to show you that you can set it up in such a way that all your sticky items can stack. Okay, so let me show you that. So if you want your sticky items to stack, let's say we want this row here to stick as well. What we need to do is to just go in, click on advanced, scroll effects, and now let's stick this to the top, save. And then we're going to save the page and then exit the Visual Builder. So now let me show you what's going to happen when I make these two items sticky. All right. So as I scroll, here's my call to action. It's going to stick to the top like that. And as I'm continuing, once I get to these three little items here, notice what happens. It's stuck and everything else is going behind. I know it's difficult to see right now because this is transparent, but ideally, what I found is if you want to use this effectively, you want to have, say, a section or even a row which has a dark background, because right now, as you can see, I can tell it's stuck there just below this one here. But as items are scrolling behind, because this is transparent, it is not working well in this example. So you can see that it is still there. You can see their construction and so on. So you want to make sure that you have a dark background so that it's easy to read when you scroll. So again, this is something that you could do design-wise. So let's go ahead and quickly fix that. So this is a very quick fix. So I'm going to go in now and show you how that works. So now if I go into that row, which is this one right here, I can just go in and give this a background. So let's give it a white background. That's fine. I'm going to save that and let's see if that works. And now you can see that this is much better. You can read it much easier. And when I scroll back up, it goes back into position. Okay. And then if I scroll now, it's going to stop right there. So this is what has stopped and everything else is going under it. There we go. Now I want to show you another really, really cool feature. So what we can also do here is, let's say you want the color to change as soon as the item gets sticky. This is what we can do. So I can now go to my background. In fact, let me just close this and make sure I'm in the right item. So I'm just going to scroll here and find my row, and this is my row. Okay, so just making sure it's set to stick to the top. There we go. We can also apply an offset here if we need to. And by the way, this can also stick to the bottom. But what we need to try and do here is to change the colors. Okay, so when you mouse over this area, do you notice that now we have a new item and it's this little sticky item here? So if we click on this, we can now activate the color that we need when the item that we need sticky to be stuck. So let's say we want to have a dark background. So let's see what color works here. So let's go with that. So I'm just using this for demo purposes only. Okay, so when you design your site, you want to make sure that you design it in a much better way. But I'm just doing this for demo purposes. In fact, let's save this now and exit the Visual Builder. Okay, so when everything is normal, it's going to have a white background, and then when it gets stuck, it's going to have a green background. So this is what I've just done. So these options here can be applied on different states, and this is really, really cool. So let's go ahead and do that. So now if I scroll, okay, we see that the first item is stuck. Okay, so here we go. Keep watching, keep watching. Now the second item is stuck, and as soon as it gets stuck, you see now the color has changed and it stays up there with that color. Now, when I go the opposite direction, here's what happens. As soon as it gets unstuck, it goes back to its default color. And as soon as it gets stuck, it goes back to that position now where we've set that color to this green. So any questions so far? I can see here Agante says, if we want the navigation block to stick, I would do this in the theme builder, right? Yes, you can also apply this in the theme builder itself. In fact, I have a demo that I'm going to show you very, very soon where we can apply this to the headers. So our headers are going to be looking really, really good now as a result of this feature. So you can imagine, let's say you were trying to scroll on the page and you want the header to change as the page scrolls down. We can also do this now with this brand new feature. And this is what I'm going to show you soon. Right. George says, hi, I've applied this to a column with the row setting. It works, and it's contact form. Yes. George, I'm not sure what you mean, but if you can try and explain it again, that would help. If you can try and explain it again, that would help. Okay, so let's have a look here. Let's see if we have any more questions. Okay. We're also streaming on Facebook Live as well. So I'm just taking a look here to see if there's any questions. Okay, no questions so far. Anyway, that's good. All right, so right, the next thing I need to talk about now is how to work on your headers and make them sticky as well. So we're going to design our header from scratch, and I'll show you how to do this. Okay, so when it comes to the headers, before we were just able to build our headers. Though, in fact, I need to be over here into my theme builder. So I'm just going to come over here now to my theme builder, and let's build a header from scratch. All right, so I'm going to come over here to my global header, and let's build it. So we're going to build this from scratch, and let's add our columns. I'm going to go with this column structure here. And the first item I'm going to add here is an image. So let's go ahead and add it. So this is going to be our logo. So I'm going to click in here and find my logo. So in fact, you know what? Let's use this one here. Upload an image. So now I have my logo in there. I'm going to save. Next, I need to add my menu. So I'm going to go in and search for my menu here. And it's chosen my main menu, which is great. So I'm just going to go in and just change my text here to, let's go with the pop-ins. Okay. So I'm not going to do a lot of styling here. I'm just going to keep things very, very simple. I'm going to save. And then over here, I'm going to have a call to action button. There we go. All right. So I have these three items. Now, I just want this centered and also reduce the size here. So let me go in and get rid of my padding, both to the top and the bottom. There we go. And then I'm also going to do the same here with the rows. Go to spacing and let's get rid of the space here as well. Right. In fact, you know what? I may want to just add a little bit. Let's go with 10. Right. So now all I have now is my button, and everything looks like it's not in line. So the most important thing here now is to go in and let's align everything. So to do that, we're just going to add a bit of CSS code here to the main element. So now everything is all lined up. You can see that now. So I'm going to save. So by default, you can see here that we can have a white background. So let's go ahead and assign the background actually. So I'm going to go in, assign the background for my header. And I may also want to add a little drop shadow so we can see what is happening here on our page. So I'm going to come over here to design, and then I'm going to go to box shadow and just add a bit of a drop shadow there. Okay. Now this is a bit too much. So I'm just going to bring this down a little bit, and then also the blur strength. Okay, there we go. So that's going to be my header. So it's a global header. I'm going to save this. Close out of here, save changes. Okay, so this is our header so far. Now you can see on the top here that we have this old style header. So if I refresh, we should have our new logo now and our header. So I'm going to refresh. And there we go. So this is our new header. So as I scroll, you can see here, nothing's really happening with my header. Now we want to make our header sticky. So I'm going to come back over here now. So you can see I'm working in the theme builder. So what I'm going to do now is to go in and make this sticky. So I'm going to go into my section settings, advanced, scroll effects. And you can see here by default, it says do not stick. So let's go ahead and stick to the top and save. Okay, so I'm going to save this one more time. Okay, so now if I come back and refresh this page, our header now should stick to the top. Okay, so now let's try it. So now as I scroll, you can see my header is now stuck to the top, and you can see there all my sticky elements are in place. Okay, so that's looking great. But what if we want to change the color of our header when we start scrolling? Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. I'm going to come back over here, go into my section settings, click on background. And when I mouse over this area again, you can notice that we have this sticky icon here. We need to click on it. And then now let's work on our sticky state. Okay, so this is the sticky state. So for the background now, I need to add a color to that. So let's choose a color here. Okay, so let's go with black. And what I'm going to do next is to remove this color here because it's not looking great. So I'm going to come over here to my design tab, go into, no, in fact, I need to save this and then go into my text module, menu module. So I'm going to go background, and in here I can add transparency. So now this text is now transparent. I mean, the background is now transparent. So I can also go in here and choose my sticky state. And now you can see that my text is not easy to read because it is dark. But over here now, I can go and fix that by coming to the design, menu text, and choose my sticky item and then change my color. Oops, that's the active color. Right, so menu color and make it white. So that's going to be the color when the item is sticky. Okay, so now that I have this, I'm going to save one more time. And then I'm going to refresh and let's see if our header is going to change. So I'm going to refresh this. There we go. So as soon as I start scrolling, notice what happens. Now my main header has changed to black. And when I scroll back up, notice that everything is changed. And when I start scrolling, it goes black. Now, isn't that cool? So it's so easy to do now. We can now make our headers look really, really awesome. And it's a very, very basic setting that we can do. And I believe that our headers now can be styled in different ways. You can even make your header shrink, when you start scrolling. So I know a few months ago, this feature was requested and now we can do it. So this new feature, the Divi Sticky Options, as I mentioned earlier on, the name, okay, may seem like it's a very basic feature, but you know what? The options are limitless. I mean, you can do so much with this feature. I mean, it has new possibilities and I highly recommend that you go and try it out. So for those of you who are just joining us, this is the Divi Feature Update Live, a show where we talk about the latest features, we explore them and discuss and talk about how this can be used in our design workflows. Okay, so I'm going to take a look now at the questions and let's have a look. Agante says, if I want the navigation to stick, yes. So I think I've just answered this, so that's great. Julian says, you should do a tutorial on how to create a squeeze page for marketing. Yeah, sure. I think this is something that we can work on for sure. Goran says, hello from Berlin. Hello, Goran. Good to see you. All right. So any questions so far? Any more questions? It looks like there are very few questions today. Is that because the feature is very easy to use? I don't know. Okay, so we're going to do one more example where I'm going to show you how to keep an item stuck to the bottom as people scroll on your page, okay? But before I do that, let me just check one more time and see if there's any questions here. And still no questions on Facebook. Okay, it's all good. So let me show you how to add an item and make it stick to the bottom of your page as people scroll on your website. All right, so back over here now on my site, let us choose an item that we need to stick to the bottom. So let's say we want this call to action now to be stuck to the bottom and not to the top. Let's go in and work on that. So I'm going to enable the visual builder. Okay, so I'm going to come into this feature right here. I mean, this call to action. Click on my row settings, advanced, scroll effects. And this time, instead of sticking to the top, I want to stick to bottom. Okay, great. So now it's stuck to the bottom. I can now save this. And remember, we also added a sticky option here. Let's go ahead and remove it. So I'm just going to come over here and click on scroll effects and do not stick. Okay, so now I've removed it. That's great. The next step now is to test and see if our call to action here is going to be stuck to the bottom. And we can see there it is sticking to the bottom. But the really good thing that you may want to do here is to choose an item which is closer to the bottom, okay? Because otherwise the scroll won't be that much until you see the item stuck to the bottom. So I'm just going to exit the visual builder here and take a look and see how this looks so far. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll and you can see it was stuck to the bottom there. So as soon as I hit that part of my screen, it sticks to the bottom. And then as soon as I get past that, it then gets unstuck. But as I mentioned, you want something to stick to the bottom when it's all the way down here, okay? Because, or somewhere in the middle, because if it's right at the top, it doesn't really make sense, you know, like in this case here. So let's go back in and choose something else that we can make stick to the bottom. All right, so I am going to, first of all, make it unstuck by coming over here and clicking advanced, scroll effects, and let's remove the sticky. And then I'm going to scroll all the way down here and choose something to stick to the bottom. So let's see if there's something. Okay, so let's say okay, let's make this row here stick to the bottom. So I'm going to come over here. First of all, I just want to make sure the background is white. And then I'm going to go into advanced, scroll effects, and let's stick this to the bottom and save. Great. So I'm going to save this page and exit the visual builder. Lauren says, no alarm this time, Mac. Yes, I am glad you remembered. You know, that alarm used to distract me a lot. So yes, no alarm this time. Right. Alberto also says, how does the sticky look in mobile? In fact, we're going to do that very, very soon. Okay, so now let's scroll and see what happens. So you can see here, it's stuck to the bottom as I'm scrolling. And as soon as, oh, in fact, you know what I've done? I've made it stick to the bottom. But as soon as I get past it, it gets unstuck. So this is really, really cool. So you can see now there it's stuck to the bottom. But as I'm scrolling here, as soon as I get past it, it gets unstuck. There we go. All right. So as you can see, this is a really, really, really good feature. And I would see this working really well on, let's say, like I mentioned earlier on, long sales pages, or even like your landing pages. If you have any specific messages that you may want to add onto your site and you want to keep it in sight, this is the best way to do it. So this works with pretty much all the modules, all the sections and all the rows on your website. So these are just a few examples that I've gone ahead and put together for you, but this is a tip of the iceberg. You have the ability to do all sorts of designs with this. You can stack things as people are scrolling on your site. And also, before I forget, the question was, how does this look when on mobile devices? So let's go ahead and check it out. So I'm just going to switch back over here before I forget. All right, so I'm back here on my site. So what I'm going to do now is to just, shrink this like that. And let's try it out. So as I'm scrolling, you can see there it's stuck. And there we go. So it still works. Now it's unstuck. And again, if I start scrolling, now it's stuck. I'm not sure if you can see it, but this is what is stuck to the bottom. And now it's unstuck. There we go. It's stuck. And now it's unstuck. I think this would look better if I had different colors on this, because right now you may not be able to see it clearly. But on the header here, you can also see, in fact, let's go all the way up. On the header here, it also works. So if I start scrolling, you can see there it's gone black. Okay, so it works on mobile devices. It just needs a bit of tweaking and this should be fine. So as you scroll on your mobile device, this should work fine too. Right, let's see. Are there any more questions? Smith says, which microphone do you use? This is the Shure SM7B. This is the Shure SM7B. That's the microphone. Right, let's take a look here and see if there's more questions. Okay, so it looks like there are no questions. All right, so this has been the Divi Feature Update Live, a show where we talk about the latest features and discuss how to apply them into our design workflows, and also discuss any questions if you do have any. So this Divi Feature Update Live is always available even after the show. So we keep these videos on our Facebook channel and also on our YouTube channel. So if you've just missed it, you can always watch it later on. And also, if you want to start using this feature, just make sure you're running the latest Divi update. I think if you were in the beginning of the show with me, you may have noticed that I could not find the feature, and that was mainly because I hadn't updated my WordPress install or my Divi install to the latest Divi. Yesterday I was using it on my live website, but today I was using it on my local machine and I'd forgotten that I updated it. But it's good, to be honest, because this shows that if you don't update it, it's not going to work. So I see it as a positive. All right, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate you hanging out with me on today, on Sunday, on Monday. And hopefully there'll be new features very soon, which we'll be able to talk about. And if you have any questions regarding this feature, please leave them in our comments box on our YouTube channel and also on our Facebook. But if you really want someone to help you out on specific matters, you can just go over to elegantthemes.com. On the bottom right, there's a chat bubble. You can talk to our support team over there. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again when the next feature gets released. Take care. All right.